Thank you very much for letting me share that
Yeah, thank
glimpse
you,
of,
Meeta. Wonderful. So we're going to be hearing this evening about Hindu faith from a Surrey perspective, which is wonderful. Thank you. On the poster that went out, we have a brief. I mean, how do you summarize someone's life briefly? But we've got a brief summary of Meeta. Let me just read it, and then we'll go from there. But Meeta is a trustee of Surrey Minority Ethnic Forum and Woking People of Faith. She has lived in Guildford for 27 years and worked in IT and telecoms project management. She's a Hindu chaplain, executive coach, and a former higher educational TV producer for Countrywide Classroom Abroad. She's committed, totally committed, I would say, to interfaith activities, speaks at the UN, does honorary chaplaincy work at Surrey University. She enjoys adding value to community relationships, empowering youth and women and girls in particular. So that's a brief summary of Meeta. We're delighted to have you this evening. I'm going to spotlight your screen. And since I'm talking to you, I better spotlight me as well, I suppose. Except I can't do it now. Let me work out how to do that. Okay, let's have this as a conversation. Okay, we've got two of us now. So that's a brief description of what you do now and who you are, but tell us a bit about your background and your culture, in a sense of where you hail from. I don't think it's Surrey Hills, but let's hear from you, Meeta. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Yeah, as thank you very much for giving the platform to express, my views and my ideas and about my life. And thanks everyone for taking time out on such a nice evening where, I would have liked to go for a walk as well. So thank you very much for attending this. I was born and raised in India. Having said that, I have lived in the UK more than I have lived in India. So this is my home, a length of years wise, and as such, it is my home. So I was born in a very dedicated Hindu family. My grandparents were both teachers, and my grandfather was a priest as well. And my father, although he was a double engineer, he was a devoted Hindu. He used to spend almost half of his day when he retired just doing all the pujas and worships and shlokas and reciting Vedas. And he was very good at, Sanskrit pronunciation. He would correct other priests that you are not doing it right. And hence, he influenced me in going for external Sanskrit exams and doing my pronunciation properly when I was a teenager. So, yeah, so my background is, as I said, it is I came to this country in 1991 November, and then because there was recession, decided to study further. And as I had from day one the right of you know indefinite leave to remain, so I got a scholarship, or that time they used to call high technology national training. And hence, on the basis of my first degree in physics, I studied electronics engineering in Edinburgh Napier University in Scotland. And I then worked with Hewlett Packard as marketing engineer, and then relocated to Guildford when I was offered a job in Ericsson as a project engineer. And that's the that's that's the story. That's the history. So I've been living in Guildford for 28 years. Almost, it's going to be 28 years in August. And I come from Gujarati community. So although my mother tongue is Gujarati, I am fluent in Hindi as well, and in a couple of other languages, Maharashtrian. I can speak a little bit. I can understand a little bit other languages as well. But my most comfortable language when it comes to reading, writing, and grammar and everything is English, because that's how I studied in India as well. They call English medium, or medium of instruction is English. So right from the age of 5 or 6, we studied in that. So yeah, that's in nutshell my background and culture.
Dhanyavad. And in terms of your family, how many in the family? What do you count as your family? You from a big family, a smaller family?
A small family. My dad, they were two brothers, and then in my family, I have got two brothers. I'm the only sister, and I have got a daughter who is 22 years old, born in Guildford, and she is a proper Guildfordian in all possible ways. She could have joined me, but she probably will do a separate one later.
Mm,
She was disappointed she couldn't join. She really wanted to, but she had other commitments.
mm,
And I so my mother is 84, and she is a big influence on me. My younger brother is 7 years younger to me, and my elder brother is 2 years older to me. My elder brother was a space scientist. He's a retired space scientist since last November. He worked with the Indian Space Research Organization for 40 years, and he was the operational director, one of the operational directors for Chandrayaan-1, which was the first satellite sent by Indian Space Research Organization to the moon. So I
mm.
was seeing the live surface of moon thanks to him when I went to India last time. All the data was being sent to NASA and European Space Agency and Japanese Space Agency from there. So me and my mom both saw that. So yes, that my younger brother is into sports. He's a die-hard cricketer, but he's also a businessman. And whenever he comes here, he plays cricket and he loves it. He's opening batsman and he is a wicket keeper.
You told us a bit about your family and what they're into. What about yourself? What sort of things are you into?
I, as such, I was a television producer for higher education, similar to the BBC Open University programs we used to make, and that was in India. And I started as a production assistant. We were hardly paid anything at that time, but the experience was fabulous. And then we started getting paid properly as we uh, graduated into future roles, assistant producer and producer. And we were also director, we were also script writer, we were also editor, because it was a low budget organization. It was called Educational Multimedia Research Center. And so I produced programs, and I was involved in produced programs of space communication, adventure sports. My first program was a student project with my other student, friends, and that was called Sailing in the Air, which is gliding. It was 10 minutes quickie, but it was so good. They said that it has to be recommended for national telecast, and it's still being shown. Then other programs which I made with a very good producer was on the Jain temples of 10th century UNESCO heritage site. And that's how why I would like to bring that, because we had a team in which the documentary, we had a commentator who would speak for the uh, give the voice for the documentary. We had series of two programs, Music in Marble, and our commentator was Muslim. So when there was Ramadan, he was a head teacher for one of the schools, Junaid Bukhari. He would give the commentary without having a drop of water. So all these things, right from the beginning of my childhood, we were imbibed with these values. My dad's best friend was Muslim, and he would say Roshan was my best friend, and he was brought up in his family, where he worked in the Director General of Supplies and Disposals, Ministry of Supplies. He had a very good Jew colleague as well. So we were like, always being introduced to different faiths as if they were our own.
Mm.
Like in India, we have a festival which is also celebrated by Hindus all over the world, which is called Raksha Bandhan. Raksha means to protect, Bandhan means bondage. It's a symbolic love between sisters and brothers. And it is there's like a bracelet or a string which is tied by these are my collection of Raksha Bandhan. I've been hiding inside this because they are broken. So I don't want that to break. So I've tied it with this. So if you don't have a biological brother or sister, then you would have a Rakhi brother. And my Rakhi brother is Catholic Christian. He's now settled in Melbourne, Australia with his family. So all these values were going back to my television production. We had other commentator was a Christian, Esther David, and our producer was Jain. I was Hindu. So we were all working like a team, and we never realized that we are of different faiths.
Mm.
When I did 2 series of programs on rock climbing, which were my own production and direction, editing everything, uh, my camera person was Makbul Chowda, again a Muslim. So, but we never thought that, someone is coming from a different religion. It was like we all are part and parcel of the family. And that brings me back to the ethos of Hinduism, which says that Vasudeva Kutumbakam means the whole world is a family. So we're brought up like that with those values wherever we are in India or over here as well. So when I was working with Ericsson in Guildford, when I got moved in 1994, I got relocation package and I started working over here. In my team, I had Abby, who was Abby Rezazada, then Munawar Hussain. All these mates, were part of Tariq Rahman, who was, he married an Italian and now he's settled in Canada. So all these things never made me think that I'm, that I'm deliberately practicing interfaith. It just came naturally.
Mm. So there's something about the Indian context and the multiculturalism, multi-religious context, and I mean, people talk about how pluralistic India is, and do you think that is changing? I mean, I know certainly you've painted a picture of a community that is integrated, where you share in each other's festivals. I mean, almost the religion is so much part of everyday life that it's not a big issue. It seems a wonderful picture, a utopian picture. But do you think that's changing, or is it? I mean, it's part of your heritage now. It seems to have got in your DNA.
I think it's in the DNA, and I haven't been, to be honest, to India for a long time to experience that. But over here, it is practiced. Like when we have any pujas at the University of Surrey, it's open for everyone. And at the end of the puja, I would go and ask everyone, say hello, and then I come to know that one of the Hindu students introduces me. These three friends of mine are my flatmates. They are from Pakistan, but they wanted to attend the puja. So they came and they are enjoying and they really had fun. And uh, in a spiritual way. And then, when we had recently last year, Diwali Lakshmi Puja in the marquee, where there's its capacity is around 1,000 students can come together, but we were around 325 students we had, and that was the biggest ever faith festival last year for the University of Surrey, because the intake of Indian students has trebled uh, thanks to the new rules which allows post degree work visa for postgrads, and even for, I think, undergraduates, so they can stay on if they got a work placement and the work is sorted out, paid work, then they can stay on as well. So you can see in the video which I had showed before that there were people of different color over there. And but in India, things might look from the media side, because I can only say from media side the things have changed. And but I do have still WhatsApp messages coming from different groups from my school, from my cadets, from my university, because I also did a postgrad over there. So it is it's still there. The ethos are still there. It might be overshadowed by other things, but they are still there. And it's a very good thing that people have not changed. People still have that frame of mind and intelligence to think for themselves, rather than the masses which can get carried away with
Mm.
certain things.
So tell us a little bit about your own faith. You were brought up in a Hindu family. Was there? I mean, some people talk about a time when they come into their faith, or their faith comes into them. Was there a time, an epiphany moment or a eureka moment, a turning point for you, or a significant event that made your faith come alive in a particular way?
There were a very good question, Phil, because there are moments in my life which I still remember where spirituality has touched me. The divine consciousness has touched me to that level that I can't forget those moments. Um, Going to pilgrimages in the Himalayas or camping. I was a big fan of camping, and so was my whole family. So I have been to quite a few spiritual camps from Sri Aurobindo Ashram in the Himalayas. And then a friend of mine does camps as well. So I've been to his camp in the Himalayas, in Manali, in Nainital. And whenever I'm at those locations, it really has touched me so deeply in those natural locations that we all are like uh, different souls connected with some profound divinity. And this, I would like to, experiment and show to everyone I come in touch with that one should not have any kind of preconceived notion about when someone meets someone new, of any background or anything. And that's when I started realizing that I need to. At one stage, I just wanted to not become a hermit, but just go and live that life and leave everything. And so one of my producers from the television production teams did keep mentioning that, Meeta, you wanted to go and live in an ashram. What happened to you? So there was a time that I really wanted to leave everything. And I just wanted to live that life that I could experiment spirituality, and I can also uh, spread the beauty of divinity within all of us, because that's what Hinduism believes in, that we all are souls who are connected uh, internally, and we don't know our consciousness are connected. If I give an example, which Sri Ravi Shankar has given as well, is that if you see someone across the road on the footpath has just fallen down or something, why do you get a little bit of uh, moment of, oh no, what happened to that person, even though that person is not related to you? Because that's how our consciousness is connected. We feel for other person. That's our natural response, no matter what background or you don't even know that person. So uh, that was the thing. The other thing which happened to me, my daughter went to Church of England school after, when she was an infant and in primary. And she came back when she was 5 years old. She told me, I'm learning every day about Jesus Christ. Can you not teach me about my religion, so that I can think about my religion when I'm sitting there with other students every morning in the assembly, and I'm being I'm singing the hymns of Jesus Christ. Can't I sing about my own religion? So that was another turning point for me. And I said, okay, I do training and executive coaching, but at the same time I need to give back to the society by the knowledge I have about Hinduism and my own faith and my own practice. And how beautiful it is that Hinduism believes that all different religions are different paths to reach one destination, the supreme god. So it accepts all the religion. The Vedic philosophy is accepting all the religion. What is currently practiced are more of customs and traditions. So we don't see the real Vedic teachings being
Mm.
practiced. So there's a gap between the what is practiced and what is actually written in the Vedas. So I thought, that will be my opportunity to give back and to educate the students, the staff, and everyone. And it became that was the changing spot time as well for me. That aha moment. Yes, I need to do something. My daughter has told me. There was another time when I was 14 years old, and I did anushtan, which is like we pray fire. Fire is pure. Home, we do homam, and with mantra repetition around 5,000 times. in a period of a month or so, or 15 days. You wake up early in the morning and do that. And that changed my whole personality. I was very fussy person before. I won't eat anything apart from potatoes or so. But it changed the whole thinking. And my mother had a very severe illness at that time, and I did not know how to cope with that because I had never done any kitchen work, any cooking. But it changed me completely after doing that anushtan of Gayatri Mantra, which is Om Bhurbhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat, which is dedicated to the sun god and the mother of all Vedas, that give us, enlighten us with some intelligence. So yeah, so that these are the three places
Mm.
which reminded me to not forget about my engineering and IT telecoms or television production, but to realign my soul to what I'm here for.
Mm, thank you. When you were talking about the pilgrimage in the Himalayas and those moments, and because probably because you got your television background, you were reminding me of, I think his name was Peter Owen Jones, Extreme Pilgrim. He did this series around the world in 80 faiths. So I'm wondering whether you know, maybe that's something you should be doing, talking about different faiths around the world that you've come across. But that's wonderful. So I think you're a little bit of an extreme pilgrim in you there. Um, I'm wondering if you have a hero of your of faith. Is there someone, a personality who has influenced you in your journey from a Hindu tradition? Um, yeah.
I would give the credit to my father because I haven't seen anyone, any person like him in my living life. He was much, ahead of his time. He was he would be like millionaires would come and pick him up because he had the authority of signing off, engineering products like drilling rigs and elevators and things like that, which the government would buy from that company for millions of rupees. Still, he was down to a person. And what I learned from him, that he was so religious and he implemented religion in his day-to-day life. He would make a cup of tea for the gardener who has come to cut the shrubs, and he would make the millionaire wait for him in the car, saying that you come before time, can you wait there? So he was a person who was not afraid of anything. He uh, he would give the just he would help everyone. Who would come for any kind of help. And after he passed away, we found a diary in which he had written down how many people owed him so many rupees. We didn't know about that. He never told us. So he was that sort of person who believed in giving away and touching everyone's life. And I think it came from his faith because he was such a dedicated person. So, um, yes, he was my hero.
Thank you. That's a wonderful tribute to your father and his integrity. Um, I'm also wondering, for many of us, as we look at the Hindu faith, it's so diverse, so big. It's difficult to get a handle on, and a lot of people talk about their own personal um, preferences. Maybe it's the gods who mean something in particular to them. Have you got a um, favorite divinity, or um, do you have a shrine at home and you have particular personalities on that?
Yeah. So thanks for bringing that point, Phil, because people think that, there are so many gods in Hinduism, but there is only one God, which is
Mm,
Paramatma. Param means supreme, Atma means soul. And every manifestation of that Paramatma is in different forms. Like each of us have different personality, different characteristics. In Hinduism, you are given a choice. The god you can, as you said, who I would who is my favorite, who I you feel related to.
mm,
And each of the god, the manifestation of Paramatma, has got his own her own characteristics. Like Lord Ganesha is worshipped for anything new you start. you will worship for him to take away all the obstacles, because you don't want your project to fall apart. Lakshmi for abundance and for wealth. Wealth means the wealth of life, not money. Wealth of, having friends, having healthy body as well. So Saraswati for doing, for students. It is Saraswati is very important for any aspiring performers, because she's the goddess of wisdom, arts, culture, speech, and spirituality. So anyone wanting to learn a guitar or
Mm.
wants to become a dancer like my daughter, so Saraswati is what she would worship the most. And also Nataraj is Lord Shiva's dancing form. She worships, Lord Shiva. And my favorite, I would say, is Lord Ganesha and Lord Shiva as well, because the first thing after I wake up, I pray to Lord Ganesha, and Lord Shiva for his in Hinduism, we consider him as the energy, the good energy, which is all around the universe, not just on earth. So he's the good energy which is existing everywhere. So we are matter, and our soul is the energy. So that energy is will change, it will never get destroyed. And that energy is connected with Shiva.
Mm. Thank you. And I really, one of the things I really wanted to ask you about is the different festivals, because you talk about festivals. You're a festival girl. You like to be a celebration. You someone who likes to celebrate. And I just wonder if you could. One of the pictures was of Trafalgar Square and Diwali in 2019, I think, where we saw you dancing with a
Yeah, I
group.
mean, it's the whole thing is a slideshow. So
Yeah.
if I can just play that, it's
No,
going to
no, we're not going to
look
do
like
it now. We're not. We'll do it another time. But I think it would just be really helpful for you to tell us about a couple of the. You can't do them all, but a couple of your favourite festivals and what festivals mean to the Hindu community, especially those of you when you're not in India, but here you are in the Surrey Hills. What do those festivals bring for you as a community?
communities come together. Uh, they have a social and spiritual binding because of the vibrations of the temple. Because temple becomes a real temple when a deity is made like us, is having a soul installed in the deity. It's called pran pratishtha. Pran is soul, pratishtha is establishing. So the whole temple has got those vibrations. So the spiritual connection between all the people, and because the other reason is you only learn, our children and everyone will only learn if they see what
Mm,
is happening in the community. So it's getting the families together, uh, eating, because prasad, or the sanctified food which is prepared, whenever it is prepared with that kind of dedication to God, that I'm preparing for God, and that is distributed. So we do all the things together, singing, eating, talking with each other. So all the human things from all the senses which we need to do is done in a way of having a community feeling, and that you are not alone. You can see how many people are suffering from mental health, and this is like one of the things which is like a spiritual remedy of coming together and having that feeling that you're not alone. It's people of your culture are there, and God is with you, and your children are learning. So you've got that satisfaction that you're doing something worthwhile, despite being away from the country of your origins.
and which is your favourite festival?
My favorite festival is Navratri.
Now tell us, what's that one? Sorry, that's not on my
Navratri,
list.
Nava means nine, Ratri means nights. So it's celebration of
Navratri,
nine different
Navratri.
forms of Lord Goddess Durga, and so first 3 days Goddess Durga and Goddess Saraswati and Goddess Lakshmi, three different goddesses are worshipped, but it's basically the feminine divinity within
Wow.
all of us, which there is a people who are coming from the state of West Bengal, they actually they actually believe in the supreme as feminine divine or
Mm,
Devi, and it's called Devi Suktam. So they consider the supreme divine, the highest power is goddess. And that is a celebration of goddess for 9 nights. And we do dancing in the evening. We do fasting as well during those 9 nights. And the spirituality is so high in the dancing. It's like rhythmic concentric circle dancing and with the sticks as well. So I have people, friends from different religion and different countries, Icelandic, Finnish, British, you name it. Everyone gets together and dances, and there's a live band as well nowadays. People dress up in ethnic wear, and 9 nights of different nine ethnic wear. Men and women dance in Ras as well. So that the dancing part is beautiful, but also the ethos behind that is the worshipping of goddess. In West Bengal, they have huge pandals or statues of Durga. And to make the statue, the priest has first to go to a prostitute's house and ask for the soil from the prostitute's house. So even a prostitute is given that much of
mhm,
platform that the priest has to beg for that, or else the pandals, the idols of Durga can't be made, and they are invited in the worship as well. So no matter for whatever reason, she has to take that you know the um, the role of prostitute, or she still take given that much of importance. So Manoratri is very important that way, that it reminds us. And in Devi Suktam there is one uh, series of recitation which says that all the different kind of attributes which human beings have when they are alive, like hunger, like sleep, like knowledge, like anger, like love, compassion, everything is feminine gender in Sanskrit. So it says Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samsthita. The feminine energy, divine energy, which is residing in all of us in the form of power or Shakti, inner power. Namastase, I'm bowing down to you 3 times. Namo Namaha. That goes on for all different attributes like Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu, Daya Rupena Sanstita, Namastasye, 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 Namo Nama. The divine feminine, which is in all beings in the form of compassion, I'm bowing down to that divine energy again and again. So that is the reason I like Navratri the most.
thank you. You have painted such a beautiful and colourful picture. It sounds like one ginormous party, Hinduism, which is fabulous. The way you described it, and there's a lot of colour as well about what you've described. Your saris are always very colourful, and it's lovely to hear of that variety. My final question, I know there's others in the chat that we'll pick up
Yeah.
on, but it's just your faith obviously means a lot to you. You respect your father, his integrity, and handing that on to you. I love the expression all souls connected by that profound divinity, which I'm now learning is a feminine divinity, that creative divinity within. So you've created this beautiful picture, but and how the last question is, how does your faith work out in action for you? How do you express it in your lifestyle, in what you do?
Yeah, so what you said, Phil, just now in a nutshell, that this divinity in all of us. That's how I see.
Mm,
When I meet anyone new, or when I have to do anything, any interaction with anyone, this is what my daughter says, that you don't have a capacity of judging. I just can't judge, because I just see that person as a pure soul, and I approach that way. So that might be coming from my um that concept which has gone into me, that everyone, every soul is so divine. They have their own life journeys, they have their own paths, they have their own religion, they have their own faith, they have their own you know uh, idiosyncrasies, their own good and bad tempers, and other. But everyone is connected. Everyone is genuinely that divine consciousness, and whether they know or not, everyone, I believe, is spiritual. So that's how, even before becoming that spiritual in my life, becoming a Hindu speaker or a chaplain, I never discriminated anyone by how they talk with me, or they look at me or anything. So that probably is, I would say that, my faith has helped me, as Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the principle of that the whole world is a family, including the flora and fauna. Everything is a family. That's the reason each of the Hindu god would have a vehicle in the name of a vehicle in the form of an animal. Also, like Lord Ganesha has a little mouse, like Durga has a lion, Amba has sea. Sorry, Durga is tiger and Amba is a lion. I said in Gujarati, sea is Gujarati of lion. Sorry, I went back to my own language. So it's my faith is making me matured and humble. When, as a human being, I also have my own setbacks. I also have my own, natural way of, you know, um, kind of, I likes and don't, things which I don't like. So, but that inner understanding in my antakaran, or in, we say, manabuddhi, and then soul. So it's like, when we have our senses and we grab all our experience, it goes to our mind, and we then think about those experiences and make our own decisions. Then we have our ego, which helps us, crystallize our thoughts. But beyond ego is buddhi, or which connects us to divine consciousness. So that's where it helps me when I have any doubts about anything. So the faith is like playing a role every single moment. At the end of the day, when I reflect on my day, then I realize what things I need to improve on, what I did wrong, and what I should be learning from that. So it's a habitual thing. So I keep on improving that way.
Thank you so much, Meeta, for sharing your faith journey and your faith in action. What I'm going to do now is put us on gallery view so everyone will re-emerge. And I think there's a few questions in the chat, and Simon, maybe you can kick off and I'll have a little look as well.
Yes, indeed. We have a few questions. Excuse me a second. So the first question we had was from Hansa Pankhania, which says, please, can you say something about Sanatan Dharma concept?
Yeah, so a very good question, Hansa. Thank you for that. Sanatan Dharma, Sanatan is which doesn't have any end. So it is, it is forever. And that is the real, that is really what Hinduism is. The name Hindu was given by a Western traveler who related it to the civilization which was next to the river Indus or Sindhu at that time. But Sanatan Dharma is really what is Hinduism is. So it is, Dharma is the righteous duty one has to do, and Sanatan is, which is never ending, which is forever. So like the righteous duty of fire is to burn, for water is to run down or flow, for air is to disperse. That way human beings have a teacher to teach, for a student to learn. So Sanatan Dharma is the righteous duty, the duty which is right, which you need to do. And Sanatan means it doesn't have any end. It is endless.
Okay, thank you very much. The next question came from Keith Scott, which says, how did you find coming from a largely spiritual country to a largely secular society here in the UK?
Well, largely spiritual fabric India does have, and it is still as I said, I was brought up in a very secular way. I had my Raki brother is Catholic Christian for nearly now how many 30 more than 30 or 40 decades.
Mhm.
And so even though I come from a spiritually well fabric country, that there is a huge fabric of spirituality, secularism is there. If you want to see, it's there all over when I was brought up. So for me, here it was more like individualistic society where you have to think about yourself first. And I was coming from a very social oriented society where I would think about others first. Like if you go in a train journey in India, I'm talking about my time, you won't eat your food by yourself. You will share it with others. And there's kind of a trust between travelers. So if that person doesn't give you, then you will think that person is awkward. If also you go in a social gathering or in office, people will share food. So I came from a very socially structured society into where I was more, you know, had to think more about myself, which I'm still learning. My daughter tells me because she's quite individualistic. So I learned from her. She's proper British that way. So British Hindu or Indian. So that, but so I did find that, secular, I, I had many Muslim friends, and I still have in India. I have many, and Muslim, the highest number of Muslim population outside of any Islamic countries in India. So we had like on the road, we had Muharram celebration when we were children. So you'd see that, all the Muslim communities celebrating and we'll watch it. So we are brought up with interfaith. We'll see Jain temples and the Jain, saints tying mask on their face and wearing white clothes and going walking. So we see Jainism. We have Sikhism as well. I have got so many Sikh friends who are Nirankari and also others. So we are brought up in and Christian population as well. If you look at the kind of how many holidays are there for each religion in India, that's around 11 or so Christian holidays. There are 11 or 14 Christian holidays, I think, and 11 Muslim holidays. There are several Hindu holidays. So you're brought up in that kind of secular governance of, okay, today is holiday because today is Sikh, uh, uh, sort of Guru's Guru Nanak Jayanti or something. So that's the reason we don't go to school today or something. We are doing special. So we that way I didn't find it that difficult, to be honest.
Brilliant, thank you. There was a question. I'm not sure whether it went on the chat or as a message to me, but it was about how. Sorry, I'm trying to find it again. It was about different historic faiths in India, which later were grouped together as Hindu. Is that right? Is there? You touched on the naming of Hinduism was done by a foreigner. I mean, was there something even deeper within what's now called the Hindu faith, which is sort of? I often think of
Yeah,
rivers flowing into each other.
there are different sects within Hinduism. The temple, which is in Eastern, is by Swaminarayan community, which is part of Hinduism. And if you go to a temple which is in Stoneleigh Park, which is nearest one, and technically in Surrey, is Rajeshwari temple, which is both Southern and Sri Lankan community. So, and if you go to temple in Slough, then there is a temple which is more catering in Reading, catering towards a community coming from the northern part of the subcontinent of India. So that way, but if you look computer architecture, where you can put in modules and add to the core. Similarly, in Hinduism, there is a core, and then you can add things in there. Like Adi Shankaracharya in the 8th century added, which was Advaita. Advaita means non-dualism, in which he propagated the idea of I myself am God Shiva. I'm neither this mind or body, or I'm not. I don't have any relations with my brother, sister. I'm not this keen. I'm not ego. It's very beautiful. It's called Nirvana Shatakam. Shatakam in 6 shlokas. Nirvana is to reach nirvana. So you can add things. So Ramanuja added things. So you can modify things. So it has got an open architecture like a computer architecture. And you are given the opportunity to modify and still be accepted. So still there will be people following, like Swaminarayan Dharma will be followed by some, Dharma is religion, by some community, and they don't eat garlic or onion all their life. So yes, there are different sects within Hinduism. As I said, the Devi Suktam or Devi sect within the West Bengal area, which Bibas will know more about as well. He's coming from there. So no. So so yeah, so that is so Hinduism has got many different sects and possibilities for people to still modify and improvise to the core. The core remains the same. The basic texts of Hinduism are 4 Vedas, which are nearly 4 to 5,000 years old: Yajurved, Rigved, Samved, Atharvaved. The Vedas have got 3 different sections, and they are very difficult for. It has got aha movement where the because Hinduism was not started by one founder. It's a culmination of so many saints and rishis are saints, and saint, what's a female for saint? So rishikas, they work together, and they had these divine revelations which has been put in the Vedas. But it's not easy for people to read the Vedas or understand it. So then came the Upanishads. There are 108 Upanishads. Upanishad means to sit near your guru and to learn it. And they are also called Vedanta, or the end of Vedas. And that was a simplified version, but only around 6 or 8 Upanishads are known. So then came even more, a simplified version, which is Bhagavad Gita. So the essence of Vedas went into Upanishad, and the essence of Upanishad went into Bhagavad Gita. And that's how, when you're talking about so many different sects within Hinduism, still everyone knows Bhagavad Gita. So that way it is, even though it is looking complicated to an outsider, people within the Hindu diaspora, they understand, and they can embrace one of these religious scriptures which they can relate to. Like within Upanishad, there is Kathopanishad, which is and Kathopanishad is all about death. A young boy Nachiketa is asking question to the god of death. God of death is Yama. Actually, it's not Shiva. Sometimes they teach that in the school. And how he is explained the journey of soul, and why it is important for a soul to have that journey. So all these things are incorporated within different sects within the religion as well, because even the teachings of Swaminarayan Kansham Maharaj, who started, the teachings will have all this incorporated, the Vedic, core Vedic philosophy. So within their teachings, within Swaminarayan, within Devi Suktam as well, within, so all the core values of the Vedas are in there. I hope, I didn't complicate it for that.
Well, I mean, I was thinking of the words of Ali in Mind Your Language. Now you are confusing me. You've. I mean, throughout the evening, you've really expressed yourself well and given us a picture of Hinduism, which is very dynamic and colourful. As I said,
Yeah, I mean, what I would like to say that it has got a core, and any different sages can add to it and make it, connect to the core.
Yeah. So we did have someone, or we've got someone who's joined from the USA, and Devang Thaker, is it? But Meeta and I hail from Ahmedabad, isn't it?
The Devang is working for the US Defense in
Yeah.
IT consultancy, but he was
Okay.
one of my cadet friends. So he was a naval cadet, I was an air cadet. But he has
Okay.
been in USA for nearly 4 decades, I believe.
So Meeta and I hail from Ahmedabad, and we were interacted with many beliefs: Jain, Sikh, Jewish, Irani, Hindu, Muslim, Christian.
Yes,
So
I forgot Irani, Parsi, because we have a community called Parsi who came from
yeah, the
Iran.
Parsis as well. Yeah, Zoroastrian.
Like the well-known Parsi is Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Everyone knows, yeah.
And
Yeah, so
I just
Devang is
got one
right.
more
There
comment.
were
We're running out of time. I just want to get one more comment in here, and then we're going to have to call it a day. But Bahadur Singh, the first civilization started in Hindu Kush, the oldest civilization. Hinduism is the oldest religion in the world. Meeta ji can confirm this, please.
Thank
So
you, brother. He's my
can you
colleague. He's
confirm?
my colleague at the university. Nice to see you. He's the Sikh chaplain at the university. Hi. Yeah. Yes. That's very.
Sure. Hi, Meeta. Thank you.
Thank you. Lakshmi Vyas. Lakshmi ji is the president of Hindu Forum Europe over here, and Sharad Parikh. He is. His son founded the government-funded only Hindu school, Avanti. So thank you everyone for coming. So Ruth is my colleague from University, Pentecostal chaplain. She is a fantastic singer. She had recently a concert. It was beautiful. She's a star, singing star. She is a divinity imbibed in her singing.
What I'm going to suggest we do now to finish, we really appreciate your time and sharing your story. If we all unmute, there'll be a little bit of chaos for a few minutes, but gives you all an opportunity to say thank you to Meeta or to say a little message to your friends. So yeah, let's just have these, and I'll turn off the recording at this point. The recording will be available via our Facebook group and the web. I know some people like me, I turned up at a Zoom call today an hour late because I got confused by the time change. So, you know, it does happen. But yeah, it'd be really good if you want to pass it on to anyone that Meeta knows to watch. So let's, I'll stop the recording. Everyone unmute and you can chat with each other.